Welcome back to Cults, Crimes, and Spirits. I'm Nina,
And I'm Andrea.
and today we are discussing Hollywood's first heartthrob, Hollywood's original Latin lover,
Ooh la la.
Rudolph Valentino.
Go Google it, look
And-
up pics of him.
Yeah, he's hot.
I mean, some of them I was like, makeup? But then I was like, actor? Some of his photos look like he's wearing a lot of makeup. Like he looks pale. Like almost like, and he's supposed to be in a casket, but he's alive. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I totally get that. He definitely does look like that in some of his photos, but they wore a lot of makeup back then.
Yeah.
So I think it was makeup.
No, yeah, me and my coworker, she like knows a lot about old films and stuff too, and she was like, yeah, sometimes they did have to use quite a bit of makeup, and they looked almost dead.
Yeah, they especially in the 1920s. Yeah,
Yes.
Silent pictures, they all look like they all look pretty dead.
It's a little creepy, but like I like to watch them. They're interesting, but it gives like a little spooky vibe.
He was born Rudolfo Alfonso Raffaello Piero Filberto Guglielmi de Valentina D'Antoguola. I probably just butchered that really bad.
Thanks for not giving that to me, because I would have been like Rudolfo Alfonso Raffaello Piero Filberto de Valentino de.
Honestly, that sounded better than what I just said.
I like missed a lot of syllables. I just slurred everything
Me
together.
too.
No, you didn't. You did great.
Dude, this guy has the longest name
I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Ever. Like,
ever.
I wonder if it is like in history. Or like the Guinness World Book.
Like the longest name ever in history.
Yeah, that's a long ass name. Like,
yeah, I mean, I've
1, 2,
never-
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At least 9 words.
yeah.
9 names. 9 names.
But yeah, that's the longest name I've ever seen ever.
Me too.
Anyways.
Tasia said, I'm down to play some reindeer games.
Oh my goodness.
When she
Because
saw a
his name's
picture
Rudolph.
of him, she was like, I'll help guide your sleigh any night. I'm like,
Oh my goodness. Because he's hot. He really is. I see why, like, people were so obsessed with Rudolph Valentino. Like, he was fine.
Yeah, the Latin lover.
Yeah. But anyways, Rudolph Valentino, we're just gonna call him Rudy because
Rudy.
those closest to him affectionately refer to him as Rudy.
And that's
I'm
hella
not
easy.
I'm not pronouncing all of his names again.
Hell no.
But anyways, he was born in Italy on May 6th, 1895.
Aw, his birthday's coming.
Yeah, so his birthday is coming up, and that's what inspired us to do this episode.
Very nice. This will actually drop the day before his birthday.
Yes.
Pre-birthday party for Rudy.
Woo woo. So Rudy grew up in Italy and eventually made his way to New York. And while in New York, he worked for a short time as something called a taxi dancer.
What?
Yes. So
What
this
is that?
So
What?
interesting. So a taxi dancer, as you may be wondering.
I'm very
like I
much
was.
so wondering.
Well, it's basically a paid dance partner. People would, like, in the early 1900s, people would buy tickets at a ballroom or dance hall, and then they would give the ticket to the person that they wanted to dance with. So Rudy used to dance with women for money, and we actually mean dance. It was a thing.
Oh, so this isn't code for like other things.
Right.
So what, they would buy a ticket
Yeah.
at the
So,
ballroom and just give
yeah.
it to like a random guy that they would want to dance with?
Yeah, it's like Rudy, he worked
And what's that ticket give that guy? Money?
one yeah, so basically you would hand the ticket to whoever you wanted to dance with, and I guess at the end of the night, like if Rudy had 5 tickets, like each of the tickets were worth 10 cents, so like I guess he got a commission and got paid like 10 cents or something like that, and then he had a dance. Like each ticket was usually good for one song.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad
And
you know the rules.
yeah. And that's how it would go. So like he just was employed by like a ballroom or dance hall or whatever, and he would just stand around and hope that people wanted to give him tickets so that he could make money. And it was called a taxi dancer because you were paid for your time like a taxi driver.
That's funny because at first I thought he was someone who danced around to grab a taxi for you so you wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
No lie. Like, hey, sir,
I get
do you
that
need
too.
a
I get that too.
taxi? I'll dance in the street to grab one down for you. And then you, like, tip them or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I know you said that we were talking about just dancing, but Rudy, however, he ended up allegedly having an affair with a wealthy married woman named Blanca de Sales. I don't know if I butchered it, but
We're not good with names.
not tonight. He ended up testifying in Blanca's. That sounds so weird. I don't like that name.
Yeah.
Blanca's defense at her divorce trial by stating that he knew her husband was having an affair with his dancing partner, Joan Sawyer. So what, they both were just having affairs with their dancing partners?
I guess because supposedly him and Blanca were having an affair, but I think it's because she knew her husband was already having an affair,
Like,
so I guess she was like,
fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, her husband did not like that, and he pulled some of his connections and had Rudy arrested on some unknown charges. He only spent a few days in jail, though. Shortly after the divorce was final, Blanca ended up...
You say her name like Blanca.
I know, I hate her name. Blanca ended up shooting and killing her now ex-husband because he refused to give her her son. Fucking crazy bitch. What the fuck?
Uh-huh.
She went on trial for murder, but she was fucking acquitted.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, a lot of people were outraged that she got acquitted because she, like, basically... She admitted to doing it. She was like, yeah, I killed him because he wouldn't give me my son.
She was guilty as fuck.
Yeah, and they just let her off, and because she was a woman. And at the time, like, it was just so unheard of women to do that, so... But, yeah, pretty interesting. But after this scandal and all this went down, Rudy left New York for California because he was like, enough of this drama. He wanted to start over fresh, and a friend suggested a friend suggested that he try his luck in motion pictures. So that's what he did. He was quickly cast in small roles in mostly B movies at first, but Rudy was eventually cast in several successful films during his lifetime. While he was appearing in another film, he was spotted by a lady named June Mathis, who was a writer and producer, and she cast Rudy in her film, The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And this film really is what catapulted his career.
Yeah, I heard about this film.
Some other successful films of his include Blood and Sand, The Sheik, and The Son of the Sheik.
The Son of the Sheik. Rudy met an actress by the name of Jean Aker. He fell in love with her and quickly asked her to marry him. She accepted, but unknown to Rudy, at the time, she only accepted to hide the fact that she was gay. because that could ruin your career back then. Allegedly, on their wedding night, Jean locked Rudy out of their room and their marriage was not consummated. So they did not get it on like Donkey Kong.
They did not.
Bummer.
Yeah,
Well, not really. She didn't want it.
yeah. But I think Rudy did, because, like, apparently he was, like, pretty
Upset.
upset and, like, what did I do? Like, eventually, I guess he figured out the truth and moved on, meeting his next wife, artistic director Natasha Rambova, on the set of another film. The two were married twice.
What?
Yeah, once in 1922, but failing to realize the law at the time required Rudy to wait 1 year after getting divorced before marrying again. Rudy and Natasha had to annul that marriage and remarry again the following year after he was officially divorced from Jean for a whole year. Like, that was a law back then.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that's good for the person to heal.
Yeah.
So you don't want to just like jump right into something right after. Well, it depends on how long it takes the divorce to be finalized too. Like,
Rudy and Natasha's relationship was a bit tumultuous. She was involved with a lot of his films, working on them as well as designing costumes and sets. After getting involved with Natasha, Rudy experienced some trouble with his career, like a couple of film flops and renegotiating his salary, not being able to work on films for a couple of years, and the press blamed Rudy's rough patch on Natasha. But,
really?
yeah, but was Natasha the cause of Rudy's trouble, or was it something else? In 1920, while in San Francisco, Rudy entered a store there and became fixated on a silver ring with a tiger's eye stone.
Oh, I love Tiger's Eye.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. That's probably why Rudy caught his eye. And he was like,
Yeah.
I have to have this ring. And he wanted to purchase it, but the shopkeeper said no. And he warned Rudy that the ring would not be a wise purchase because it was cursed.
Oh, hell no. Stay away from that thing.
Yeah. And the ring was called the Destiny Ring. That
Weird.
sounds mysterious, cool, and also spooky.
Spooky.
Yeah. I would run.
Yeah, I'd be like, alright, well, can you point me in the direction of another Tiger's Eye ring
That's
isn't cursed?
not cursed, yeah.
Like, I just want a Tiger's Eye ring, thanks. But eventually the shopkeeper gave in, and Rudy, I guess not believing in curses, purchased the ring anyway. Supposedly, he wore this ring during the filming of the film, The Young Raja, and this film did not do well.
Yeah, it was his first commercial flop. And, you know, he was used
Belly flop.
He was used to being very successful. Like, his films always did really good. So for that to happen was like a slap in the face. Yeah.
Yeah.
So supposedly after the, failure of the young Raja, Rudy put the ring up and did not wear it again for quite some time. Supposedly, years later, he wore the ring during the filming of what would be his final film, The Son of the Sheik. According to reports, he also wore the ring to the premiere in July. And not too long after this, on August 15th, 1926, he was rushed to the hospital after collapsing in pain.
Oh my god, take this ring off!
Yeah, apparently he was wearing the ring when he collapsed.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and he loved this ring so much, for some reason.
But shit's going south fast, Rudy.
Yeah.
Get rid of the ring.
So, after being rushed to the hospital, he ended up having surgery for a ruptured appendix and perforated ulcers.
Oh,
yeah.
That sounds awful.
Over the next few days, Rudy's condition worsened, and something called peritonitis set in. And according to Oxford Languages, this is typically caused by a bacterial infection, either via the blood or after a rupture of an abdominal organ. So it makes sense because his appendix had apparently like ruptured.
Yeah, so the bacteria leaked out and got into his blood.
Yeah.
Great. Wonderful.
And
New fear unlocked.
yeah. Yeah, peritonitis. Doesn't sound pleasant.
Peritonitis.
Yeah.
No.
And the sad part is apparently when he woke up from surgery, like he thought he was going to be fine, and I don't think the doctors told him any otherwise. But they knew like stuff was going south, and he probably wasn't going to make it. But
that's crazy.
They didn't tell him, and then I think he like eventually fell into a coma and then just didn't wake up. So
yeah, Rudy passed away on August 23rd, 1926. And he was only 31 years old. And that hits. That gave me chills.
Yeah, you're about to turn right 31 this month. And I am 31. So that's
yeah, so like
yeah.
Creepy.
Spooky, yeah.
That's so young.
Mm-hmm.
According to reports, about 100,000 mourners showed up to his funeral at the Frank E. Campbell Funeral Church on Broadway in New York City. Now, at this time, celebrities had passed away before, but not someone like Rudy. Not the Latin lover.
Not the Latin lover!
He was their Latin lover! He was the heartthrob of the century. It was kind of like when Elvis died.
Mm-hmm.
That same vibe.
Women were just, like, devastated. They were like...
They lost their eye candy.
Yeah. Man, he was some good eye candy. So, people were, like, rioting.
Throwing fits.
Yeah, trying to get into the hospital and then trying to get into the funeral home. It was apparently, like, pretty crazy. They had to get a lot of police involved. It was a whole thing. Which I get it. Because it's Rudolph Valentino. And according to an article by Turner Classic Movies, a 27-year-old actress from London named Peggy Scott was actually found dead 2 days after Rudy's death.
That's weird.
Yeah, she apparently poisoned herself while surrounded by pictures of Rudy.
Okay, so this was suicidal.
Yes. And another woman, a couple months later, attempted suicide by poisoning and shooting herself. Obviously, she was not successful, but she told police that she wanted to join Valentino, and she was quickly committed to an asylum when she recovered.
Wow, that's intense. I didn't know it got that deep.
Yeah, a little bit. It's pretty wild.
That's a little psychotic.
Very, yeah. I mean, he was hot, but
killing yourself?
Yeah, no one's that hot. No one's that hot.
No.
At this point, Rudy and Natasha were no longer together. You know, they had gotten divorced in 1925, so a year before he died, and he had moved right the hell on with actress Paula Negri. Supposedly, they were engaged. I think it was more according to her. Paula was heartbroken, obviously, but she was also very dramatic.
Okay. Over the top with it.
Uh-huh.
She had a flower arrangement placed beside Rudy's coffin that spelled out Pola. Pola. Like, what?
Yeah, her name. Like, why would you get your name in a flower arrangement for someone else's
right
funeral?
Next to your... Yeah, what?
I know. Like, she was very about herself. I mean, it's your funeral, but I'm gonna make it about me.
She also made a scene by collapsing on Rudy's open coffin during his viewing in New York, and she fainted several times for photographers. She then accompanied his body via train back to Los Angeles. Drama. But she was an actress, and I feel like they are very good at that.
Yes. She was definitely putting on a show.
They're so good at doing that.
Mm-hmm.
They get paid to do that.
Yeah.
They're trained in it. Anyways. So, supposedly shortly before his death, according to George Ullman, Valentino's Valentino being a manager, close friend. Valentino apparently told Paula to go to hell during a phone conversation, and for being so distraught, Paula surely moved on quickly because less than a year after Rudy's death, she married Prince Sergei Mdivani. But he wasn't an actual prince.
No. Like, I think his family was, like, of some sort of note, and they had the name, like, Count or something like that. And when they came to the States, I guess Count got mistranslated as, like, Prince, and it just kind of stuck. So they were, like, Counts, but then they turned into Princes. Something like that.
Weird.
Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about that family or that situation, but he was not an actual prince. That's all I know. So, when Rudy died, his estate was actually in massive debt. There wasn't even enough money to bury him.
Wow, that's sad. You know why? He spent it all on that damn cursed tiger's eye ring.
Yeah, I don't know how much he spent on that ring, but...
Or he lost it all because of the ring.
Possibly. Apparently...
They should have made the movie The Ring about him. It would have made more sense.
I heard that...
A whale. They should have named that one, like, The Whale Girl.
The Whale Girl.
That comes out your TV.
That would have been
the
more fitting.
The Cursed Child.
Yeah.
Not The Ring. 7 days.
I heard that he was just really bad with money, though. Is why he was in so much debt.
He just blew it?
Yeah, like, he didn't understand the concept of money or something. Like, he would just blow through it like it was nothing.
Makes sense. I mean, he was young when he passed away. So.
Yeah. Living it up. Your Hollywood movie star.
Why not?
So anyway, his friend, George Ullman, was also the executor of his estate. And he made the decision to actually open his funeral to the public. I don't know if he, like, charged or, like, what the thought process was behind that. Yeah. But anyway, he opened the funeral to the public, which was a huge mistake because, you know, riots, crazy people, women, hysteria.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Yeah. So Rudy's friend, June Mathis, remember we mentioned earlier, who ended up casting Valentino in her film The Four Horsemen and the Apocalypse? Well...
Yeah, I wonder what that movie's like. It sounds like a cool title.
I haven't seen it, but it sounds awesome, and apparently it was, like, what launched his career, like, catapulted him into success. It has to be good. Right. Anything with him in it has to be good. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of obsessed.
Yeah, well, for that time period, definitely. Yeah.
So anyways, June Mathis had already purchased some crypts at what is now known as the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in California. And because he didn't have any money to be buried, she offered to loan one of her crypts to Rudy to be buried there. And
that's sweet.
It's sweet, but, like, who, like, oh, you can borrow my crypt. Like, who...
Yeah, that's kind of weird. But yeah. It's sweet.
Yeah, it was nice.
It's thoughtful.
But it's just super odd. Like, what... How do you borrow a crypt, you know? Because you're not gonna, like, be undead one day.
Hey, yo, can I borrow your crypt for, like, 35 years?
It's kind of permanent, but... But, anyways, it was only supposed to be temporary until they were able to get the money together to, like, build him, like, a proper memorial and, like, move his body there. Well, yeah. June herself actually ended up dying a year later in 1927. So...
Crazy.
Yeah, so Rudy was in that one
She
crypt.
needs her crypt back.
Yeah, she needs her crypt back. So they end up moving Rudy over to what would have been her husband's crypt.
Weird.
Yeah, and she was married at the time of her death, but her husband ended up selling the crypt to Valentino's family.
Oh, how sweet, but weird.
So, yeah, I know, I was like, did he not want to be buried beside of his wife? Or, like, what?
Yeah, like, what?
Yeah, but maybe, I thought also, like, maybe he just didn't want to disturb Rudy by moving him again. And...
That's true.
Yeah, so maybe he was just like, I'll just give the crypt to his family, or sell it to his family, or whatever. So, that's where he still lies to this day in this crypt in the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
Thanks, June.
Yeah.
Well, June's husband.
Yeah.
So that's how Rudy's story sadly ended way too soon. But that's not the end of that cursed ring.
Nope.
Depending on what you believe, it may or may not have contributed to his untimely death.
I kind of believe it had something to do with it. It's just too
Me too.
too weird.
It's too coincidental.
Yes.
All these things happen right after. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So after his death, Paula, wonderful dramatic Paula, ended up with the ring. She was asked to pick something of Rudy's to keep, and she picked the ring because he loved the ring so much, and it meant so much to him.
Of course she would pick the ring.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he probably mentioned to her at some point that it was supposedly cursed. Anyway, soon after getting the ring, she became, like, really ill. I don't know what she had, but she was just, like, really ill. Yeah, out of nowhere.
Another one?
Mm-hmm. And eventually she recovered, but by the time she recovered, her acting career had pretty much tanked. Like, because in 1927 is when talkies became a thing, talking pictures. So some silent film actors did not make that transition to the talking pictures because they didn't have the voice for it when they actually had to start talking. So, you know, once she recovered, she was like, oh, hell no, and decided to give the ring to her friend, radio and motion picture singer Russ Columbo, who...
Wow, give it to another famous person.
Right, and not just any famous person. Apparently, Russ reminded her so much of Rudy. Like, he resembled Rudy and reminded her of Rudy. And she, when she gave him the ring, she said, from one Valentino to another.
I hope she warned him it was cursed.
Yeah, I don't know if she did, but she not only passed along the ring, she passed along the curse, because not long after receiving the ring, Russ was accidentally shot and killed when a gun he and his friend, Lansing Brown Jr., were looking at accidentally went off in Brown's home.
What?
Yeah. So apparently these were like old guns, and they were like old guns, and they were admiring them, looking at them, and it accidentally went off and shot Russ in the head.
That's tragic.
Yeah, and he died.
In the head?
Yeah, in the head. And he was only 26 years old.
That's so young. He didn't even make it to the 27 club.
Nope. And at the time of his death, Russ was in a relationship with the lovely actress Carole Lombard. And Carole actually ended up dying tragically in a plane crash just a few years later. So
that's weird.
Odd coincidence.
That's sad.
Yeah. Don't know if that had anything to do with the ring, but still sad, still tragic.
Probably.
Yeah.
This thing's cursed.
Yeah. I just threw that in there because I thought it was weird how Russ had the ring and Carole didn't really have the ring, but she had a connection to the ring somehow, you know, through Russ. And then she also ended up dying.
Yeah, no, that's weird. Too many coincidences.
Uh-huh.
But then the ring ended up in the hands of Russ's good friend, entertainer Joe Casino. Joe knew of the ring's reputation, so he kept it locked away in a glass case. After a while, he ended up deciding to wear it. Why?
Big mistake. Big mistake.
Yeah, why? Why? What? You've seen all this shit go down. Don't put it on.
Yeah.
A week later, while allegedly still wearing the ring, he was killed in a car accident.
Yep.
Go figure. Like, that's sad, but, like, what'd you expect? You were gonna survive?
You had on the destiny ring, and you met your destiny.
Yeah. He did. Real quick. While we were doing research, we found different reports. Some said he was killed when a truck struck his vehicle. Some made it seem like he was outside of his vehicle when he was struck. But either way, he was killed when either his vehicle or his body was struck by an oncoming truck.
That's a horrible way to die. Like, either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool name, though, too. Joe Casino.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Easy to remember.
Yeah. After Joe's death, his brother, Del Casino, ended up with the ring. And he didn't take any chances. He locked that ring away in a safe inside of his home. The ring apparently killed Rudolph, Russ, and his brother. So,
Yeah. No, thank you.
yeah, good for him locking it away.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. Well, then comes along a man by the name of James Willis. Willis broke into Del Casino's home to rob it when he accidentally set off the alarm and police were shortly on scene. While he was trying to get away, Willis was shot and killed by police before ever getting out of the home. And what was in his pockets?
No fucking way.
The Destiny ring, yes.
Why do people keep fucking with that ring?
Yeah, Willis probably didn't know,
no,
the significance.
Like,
yeah, but still, yeah. Pretty crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Del took the ring back and he placed it back into the safe. In 1938, Del loaned the ring to director Edward Small and ice skater turned actor Jack Dunn, who were working on a movie about Rudy's life. Jack was the captain of the British ice skating team in the 1936 Olympics. Jack ended up wearing the ring, and 2 weeks later he died of a rare blood disease called tularemia.
According to the CDC, tularemia, also referred to as rabbit fever, typically infects people through like a bite of an infected insect, most commonly ticks and deer flies, or by handling infected, sick, or dead animals, or eating or drinking contaminated food or water, or by inhaling airborne bacteria.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so shortly before his death, Jack had actually handled dead rabbits on a hunting trip in Texas.
Oh.
Yeah, and then suddenly becomes infected with this rare blood disease after wearing the ring.
This damn ring, y'all.
Coincidence? I think not.
I think not at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Good gosh. Gosh golly.
Good golly gosh. There's more.
There's more. I don't know why I did that. The ring was then returned to Del Casino, who kept the ring locked away until his death, when his possessions, which included the ring, were placed in a bank vault in LA.
The bank vault was robbed a year later. The thieves managed to get $200,000, but they didn't get far. Police shot and killed 2 of the robbers, and the leader of the gang, Alfred Hahn, received a life sentence for his role in the robbery. At his trial, Alfred made the comment, "If I had known what was in that vault apart from money, I'd have picked myself another bank." So apparently he believed in the curse.
It was cursed.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the ring remained at the bank until about 1960, when there was a fire that occurred at the bank. The ring went missing, and its whereabouts are still unknown to this day.
Pretty crazy stuff. That is a lot of deaths in a short time frame associated with this ring.
Yeah, this beautiful tiger's eye ring.
Yeah.
That's cursed. Don't touch it.
Do you believe it's cursed? Or just coincidence?
Do you believe it's cursed?
100%.
Yeah, dude. It has to be.
Yeah.
All these young, healthy people...
Yeah.
There's no way. Maybe 1. But not like 5 or 6.
It's just too much. And like Alfred, he survived, but he got a life sentence, so he still got screwed. Paula Negre, when she had the ring, she didn't die, but she got really sick and her film career basically ended. Yeah, so like, even if you don't die, it seems like,
It turned your life to shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Real quick. Don't touch the ring.
Yeah. My husband and I are also watching, we have Final Destination 2 playing in the background, and I'm just like, the Destiny ring and seeing death and all of this stuff and talking about
coincidences.
Yeah. Kind of an odd choice to have in the background right now.
Is that the one where they ride the roller coaster, or is that the
No,
third
it's
one?
a log truck on the highway.
That's the second one?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Although I'm forever terrified of getting behind a log truck.
Me too, and tanning beds, and roller coasters.
And airplanes.
Yeah, always.
Anyways.
Anyways.
So now we're going to circle back to good old Rudy. Just
Rudy!
because there's some more interesting things associated with Rudolph Valentino besides just the ring. So, on the anniversary of his death, a mysterious lady in black would visit his grave and leave a single red rose. This lady kept her identity a secret at first, but after many years and drawing a lot of attention, she identified herself as Princess O. Wilson, better known by her professional name as Deetra Flame.
Ooh, those names are both fancy.
Yeah, she was like a musician, orchestra, something like that she did.
That's cool. I know Deetra was adopted by a family who lived in Hollywood. She met Rudy because he was a friend of her adopted parents, and he would visit them often. According to an article from Daily Bulletin, she told the Ontario Daily Report in 1981 why she left a rose for Rudy each year. She said she was about to have surgery and Rudy would visit her in the hospital. She said he laid a rose on the blanket beside me and said it would stand for a miracle. He believed she would not die from the operation, but if she did, he said he would visit her grave every day and bring roses. She said then, he asked me to do the same for him. He said he didn't want to be lonely if he should die first, and I promised to put roses on his grave.
She also stated that Rudy expressed to her he didn't want to get old, saying, I don't want to lose my hair, have no teeth. I want to be remembered the way I am. She said she told him, as long as I'm around, that is how you will be remembered.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get that though.
That's like such a sweet little like friendship they had.
It really is. She was 21 when he died, and she said she would visit his grave almost daily for the first few years. But eventually she moved from the area and would only visit on August 23rd, the anniversary of his death.
She kept this up for nearly 30 years. Then other imitators started showing up and leaving flowers for Rudy, like dressed in black.
Aww.
Yeah.
She started a movement.
She did. She said sometimes she would go at night or the day before to like avoid running into the other people. But as she got into her old age, she only went every few years because it was hard for her to like sometimes, get out there. And she ended up dying in 1984, and her gravestone says, in loving memory, Princess O. Wilson, the Lady in Black.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's cute. Natasha Rambova, Rudy's ex-wife, said she kept in touch with Rudy long after his death via seances. And his ghost has been spotted all around Hollywood, so it seems he has kept busy in the afterlife. His spirit has been seen at the Knickerbocker Hotel, an apartment complex called Valentino Place, named after him, of course. When he was alive, it wasn't an apartment complex. It was the site of a speakeasy he used to visit often.
His spirit has also been spotted at the lot of Paramount Pictures where Rudy used to work, as well as the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. His spirit is also said to have been seen at his last home, a beautiful mansion he named Falcon Lair in Benedict Canyon, overlooking Beverly Hills. The area has actually been documented to have high electromagnetic energy emanating from it, which could help spirits to come through more easily.
Yeah, like opening a gate or a portal.
Yeah. And yeah, so his spirit gets around, man. Apparently.
Yeah. He got a busy spirit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the main house at Falcon Lair was bulldozed in 2006, so I don't know if they rebuilt there. Yeah. But I'm kind of curious if people still see him like hanging around, because I couldn't
Yeah.
find any like super recent
I'm sure he's
reports.
still hanging around in like Hollywood.
Oh yeah. Also, side note, just across the canyon from Falcon Lair was Celio Drive, where Charles Manson and the Manson family murdered actress Sharon Tate, who at the time was 8 months pregnant, and four others who were at her home for a get together. So, just saying, that canyon is definitely haunted between the tragic events that unfolded there and all the energy that's emanating from it.
Oh, totally. Even Rudy's beloved dog, a Doberman named Kabar, who passed 3 years after Rudy on January 17th, 1929, is said to haunt the pet cemetery where he is buried in Calabasas, California. It is said he sometimes licks the hands of those who pass by his grave.
That's so cute.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Little cute Doberman.
Yeah. That's so sweet. Like I wouldn't even be scared to go to that pet cemetery.
Me either. I'd be like, I'm looking for Kabar.
Yeah.
Where's Kabar?
Kabar, are you here? Come here, boy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so apparently Rudolph Valentino had a cursed ring that affected
He
his.
should have never bought that ring.
Yeah. Agreed.
But then who knows how history would have unfolded.
Yeah. And I mean, he told Deetra that he never wanted to get old, so I mean, he never did.
I mean, it did. Yeah, his destiny or his wish came true.
Yeah, and he's forever remembered as he was Hollywood hunk, um, Latin lover, my eye candy.
He's got like 9 names.
Yeah, dude with 9 names. According to Andrea, he looked dead before he was dead with all that makeup.
Yeah, he kind of did.
He really did. In certain pictures.
He was trying to get casted for that casket.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, that's the story of Rudolph Valentino and his cursed ring, and
Good old Rudy and his tiger's eye.
yeah, and the lady in black,
I love the lady in black. That's so sweet.
and his ghost haunting Hollywood.
Yeah, go check it out if you're in LA, Hollywood.
Yeah.
See if you can find Rudy. Or at least go say hey to Kabar. But anyways, it's been real.
Next week we're gonna be discussing. There's a lot. Like I feel like we're gonna be doing multiple episodes on this. But there's a lot of funeral home scandals. Like some sketchy ass shit happens in some funeral homes. So.
Some weird stuff goes down where it's not supposed to.
Yes, and it's extremely interesting and
Unsettling.
messed up. Unsettling, that's a good word. So we're going to be diving into that next week. The first of probably many episodes. Not in a row, but, you know.
Yeah, scattered throughout.
Yeah, because there's a lot of funeral home scandals. So.
And we're going to deep dive them.
Yes. So stay tuned next week for our first deep dive of that.
But in the meantime,
stay spooky.
stay spooky.